Have you ever wondered what really happens behind those closed doors during the NFL draft interviews? What kind of questions are asked? How do future stars respond when the spotlight is no longer on the field, but instead focused squarely on their character, mindset, and readiness to lead a franchise? Well, buckle up, because what you're about to hear might just change your entire perception of one of college football's most polarizing figures, Shedeur Sanders. The son of the legendary Deion Sanders has been the subject of both admiration and intense scrutiny, and now shocking leaks from his interview with the New York Giants have surfaced, casting a whole new light on the quarterback everyone thought they knew. It's no secret that Shedeur Sanders has been one of the most talked about names in college football over the past 2 seasons. With his flashy style, undeniable arm talent, and headline-making confidence, he's drawn attention from scouts, analysts, and fans alike. Playing under the spotlight of his father, Coach Prime at the University of Colorado, Shedeur turned heads with game-winning performances and highlight reel plays. But while the stats and swagger have made him a media darling, what happens when the cameras are off and the questions get tough? Recently, multiple reports have emerged pointing to a rather unexpected turn in Shedeur's draft journey. According to these leaked details from his pre-draft interview with the New York Giants, a team seriously in need of a quarterback, Shedeur didn't exactly leave the best impression. And when it comes to the NFL, especially a franchise like the Giants, first impressions matter a lot. Sources close to the situation have revealed that during his sit-down with the Giants front office, Shedeur reportedly showed signs of arrogance, an unwillingness to accept criticism, and a perceived lack of maturity. One insider described the interview as tense, suggesting that while Shedeur answered questions confidently, it sometimes came off as dismissive or even combative. For a team like the Giants, who pride themselves on professionalism, team-first mentality, and long-term stability, that kind of attitude is more than just a red flag. It's a flashing neon warning sign. But before we jump to conclusions, let's take a step back. NFL teams interview dozens of players each year, and the process is meant to be tough. They want to see how players respond under pressure, how they handle criticism, and how they think on their feet. These are million-dollar investments, and organizations leave no stone unturned. So what exactly happened in that interview room that has scouts and executives raising their eyebrows? One leaked portion of the interview revealed that when asked about areas of improvement, Shedeur reportedly redirected the question, saying that he's already playing at a professional level and that coaching hasn't always matched his standard. While confidence is a crucial trait for a quarterback, especially one who's expected to lead a locker room of grown men, comments like these can be easily interpreted as throwing coaches under the bus or deflecting accountability. Another concerning detail? When asked about his time at Jackson State and the transition to Colorado, Shedeur allegedly took more time highlighting how he had to elevate the culture rather than discussing what he learned or how he grew as a player and person. These subtle cues, to the trained eyes of NFL evaluators, can sometimes weigh heavier than a highlight reel of deep passes and fourth-quarter comebacks. And perhaps most damning of all, when the Giants inquired about his readiness to potentially sit behind a veteran quarterback in his rookie year, a common reality for young quarterbacks, Shedeur reportedly stated, "If I'm on your team, I'm starting, period." Again, the confidence is there, and in the right context, it might even be inspiring. But in a room filled with men whose jobs depend on your ability to learn, grow, and adapt, that kind of comment might be viewed less as competitive fire and more as entitlement. Now let's be absolutely clear. These are leaks. We weren't in the room. We didn't see the full interaction. And everyone, even top prospects, can have a bad day. It's also worth noting that Shedeur Sanders has never shied away from being himself. He's always been outspoken, unapologetic, and unwavering in his belief in his own abilities. That's part of what makes him exciting. That's part of what makes him, well, Shedeur. But when it comes to the NFL, and especially franchises like the Giants who are rebuilding and searching for leadership, those personality traits must be accompanied by a willingness to grow, a respect for the process, and an understanding that the next level is a different beast altogether. Let's not lose sight of the stakes at play here. The New York Giants have been trapped in quarterback limbo for far too long. Daniel Jones, despite moments of potential, has struggled to secure his spot as the reliable franchise leader. The organization has endured years of highs and lows, occasional flashes of promise, immediately followed by stretches of mediocrity. For a team that once dominated with stability at the quarterback position, the urgency to find the next face of the franchise is undeniable. And in that pursuit, every detail matters, especially when considering a high-profile talent like Shedeur Sanders. With a crop of other quarterback prospects available, some with a more polished image, others more willing to sit and learn, taking a swing on Shedeur becomes a complex and high-risk decision. What makes this story even more compelling is how Shedeur himself has responded to the controversy. In his recent social media posts and interviews, he hasn't backed down. If anything, he's leaned in even harder on his confidence. Others may inflate issues around one prospect just to create chaos for rivals. That's the nature of the draft, filled with smoke, mirrors, and manipulation. So, before we rush to label Shedeur as problematic, we have to consider the possibility that he's just another victim of draft politics. And let's remember who Shedeur Sanders is. This is not a player who's just stepping into the spotlight for the first time. He's the son of Deion Sanders, one of the greatest athletes in sports history. He's been in front of cameras since he was a kid. He's been under pressure, scrutinized, and challenged long before he ever threw a college touchdown. Every time people have questioned him, he's responded where it counts, on the field. That kind of mental resilience is rare. You can't fake it. You can't teach it. It's either part of who you are or it's not. And Shedeur, he's shown time and again that he's got that edge. So where does all of this leave us? Should NFL teams hesitate before drafting him? Or should they look past the noise and see a future star who simply refuses to fit a traditional mold? Maybe he is the face of the new generation, athletes who build their brand, speak their mind, and control their own narrative. Or maybe he's not quite ready for the structured, ego-checking world of the NFL. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle. He's complex, he's bold. And yes, he might be a little rough around the edges, but greatness often starts that way. What we do know without a doubt is this: Shedeur Sanders is far from ordinary. He brings talent, personality, and that intangible factor that teams are always chasing. Whether it's enough to overcome the questions now swirling around his name, that remains to be seen. But make no mistake, whoever drafts him isn't just selecting a quarterback. They're signing up for everything that comes with Shedeur: the spotlight, the noise, the fire, and the fight. And maybe that's why this situation has as much to say about the Giants as it does about him. Maybe the Giants aren't ready for a personality like Shedeur. Maybe they want someone safer, more predictable, someone who fits cleanly into their system. Or maybe they're just trying to outsmart the rest of the league, hoping the leaks cause his draft stock to slip so they can grab him later. After all, the draft is as much about strategy as it is about talent. One thing is certain: the drama surrounding Shedeur Sanders hasn't ended with the draft, it's just begun. Whether he proves the doubters wrong or validates the skepticism, all eyes will be on him moving forward. His story, for better or worse, is one the NFL will be watching closely. If this story pulled you in like it did for us, go ahead and hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth analysis of the most talked about stories in football. Is Shedeur Sanders a bold trailblazer challenging old systems? Or a cautionary tale of talent clashing with ego? Only time will tell. Until then, stay curious, stay sharp, and always remember, the real game isn't just played on Sundays. It's being written every day behind the scenes.